Hey everyone, welcome to hok'stutoring. How are you all doing? If you're feeling exhausted and stressed from all the recent bombardments of SAC, then that could be a sign that you may be burnt out. Or it could be that you're a normal, sane human being who is being overworked by VCAA. Well, either way, exam is coming up real quick and I wanted to make this video in order to help you spend your term 3 holidays productively. With exams coming up in under 50 days, it's imperative that you spend these holidays wisely. And if you want to know how to do that, make sure you stay tuned until the end of the video. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm sure your teachers, your tutors, and your friends have told you this already, but the term 3 holidays is not a holiday. It's treated as your SWAT back. That means you shouldn't be hanging out all day, every day, or becoming a couch potato and watching Rick and Morty for the whole 2 weeks. No, you should not be doing that. This break is a break from school that allows you to fully focus on your own studies and without all the distractions that comes with going to school. So when you go to school, you have all your friends, which can lead to procrastination. We know that. I'm not saying that studying with friends is a bad thing. In fact, you should, especially for subjects like English, which are more subjective in nature. But for maths and science, you probably will need the peace and quiet, to fully focus on the problems that you will be doing by yourself. Another great thing about this break is that you can use that time that you would normally have spent revising in class to do your own revision at home or in the library. You don't have your teachers telling you what to do and what not to do. For example, you find that you're not quite ready in English, then you can allocate more time into English as opposed to maybe spending time in a maths class because you have to be in that maths class. It's really flexible. So that's what makes this holiday great. You're in charge of your own studies. You can crack down on all the subjects that you want to focus on and you won't have to go to classes that you don't want to go to. So the next question would be, how should you revise during these holidays? Well, the revision that you do really depends on you as a person. It depends on how best you study and also what kind of subject you're revising for. So for example, I like to revise for my maths subjects, methods and spec by going through the practice papers. I'm a huge advocate of doing practice exams over making notes for my math subjects. So the questions in maths are very practical. There's always a set answer, set solution for any question. So by simply doing the questions and checking your answers with the prescribed solution in the exam, you're technically gaining that exam exposure under your belt, as opposed to making notes, which while it does consolidate your knowledge, you're not really applying it anywhere. And trust me, the exam questions are a different type of beast to your textbook questions. So, there's only 40 days left as well till your exams. Sorry to break it to you again, guys, but okay, so here's my tips for you math students out there. You should be starting your exam practice with the generally easier ones, pushing it all the way to the more difficult ones. So what I've found for the math subjects, in my opinion, is that the Heffernan exam would be my go-to at the start. And then it'll be a toss-up between Insight, TSSM, and VCAA, somewhere in the middle. And then you got Mav, Kilbaha, NEEP, all those companies, all in the higher tier of difficulties. Of course, this is just in my general assumption, my opinion. It really varies according to your strength and also the year of the exams. However, I would highly recommend that you do start from the easier ones, as that will smoothen the transition from the textbook into the exam questions. The worst thing you can do is you go through your first exam and you see this question right here and just completely just give up. The great thing about doing all your practice exams now instead of making notes, especially for your math subject, is that you'll find easily where your weak points are just by doing those questions. Perhaps you found out that you forgot what a parametric equation is or what a domain, how to find a domain or range of a composite function. Then just by doing those questions and looking at the set of solutions, you're essentially remembering all the things that you should have done, like the topic itself. And then from that point on, you can also move on towards the textbook just to revise quickly on those topics again. So I think that's why you really want to be doing your practice exams right now. Of course, that doesn't always work, especially for subjects like English. You will need to have a much higher level understanding of the topics, of the characters, of the themes, of the analysis techniques. And to do that, you need to make notes prior to writing any English essays. Most of us are visual learners, so meaning we retain information better if we see things. So what I like to do is create a mind map or a diagram on the themes and characters of the book, or maybe compile a table that lists all the language analysis techniques and also examples on how they're used. It's also a great idea to read other students' work. You know, maybe you're not feeling like it that one day, you don't really want to write any essays or do the 3-hour block of exam. Then what you can do is just go take a paper online, get it from your friends, get it from a really high scoring person, and just read it. And just by doing that, you can understand what is expected of you to score the higher marks in your exams. So those are your revision tips for the holidays. Now on to the question of how much you should be revising in these holidays. Well, I would recommend that you do a minimum of 2 or 3 practice exams per day. Now of course you can do more than that, that's up to you, but I really stress that you don't want to do too much practice exams. You do not want to burn yourself out, like I said in the start of the video, because the exam is coming up way too soon, and if you burn yourself out right now, you stress too much, really it's not helping. You won't be retaining any of the information that you'll be studying. So here's my tip on what you should be doing each day. So in the morning when you wake up, you get your breakfast, and then afterwards you do the exam, the practice exam on the subject that you hate the most. So in my case, that would be English, because in the morning, that's when you feel most motivated. You can look at it, all the successful people, all the successful students, the way they study is whatever they don't like the most, they put it first. Get it out of the way first, because later on, I know in the evening, you will procrastinate or you won't feel as motivated, and then you'll just ditch it. You'll decide to not do it at all. So it's better to do the things that you hate the most the first, because then that's when you're most inclined to. And then of course, after you do your English exams or whatever exam that you don't like the most, you can take a little bit of break, and then afterwards in the afternoon maybe do another practice exam, the one that you're more comfortable with, and then do another one in the evening. So hopefully you can get 3 exams per day. And then after dinner, you know, it's fine, you can relax a little bit. So maybe just read notes or just chill, talk with your friends, just hang around with your family. Nothing too intense, because if you do practice exams during those time, normally most students don't capture or retain as much information. So it's probably best to leave those in the morning, in the afternoons, and a little bit in the evening, when you're actually accustomed to actually studying. Because at school, those are your school time, your study clock are those times, okay? So yeah, that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Just sharing some personal insights and things I've learned both as a VC student and as a VC tutor. I've been teaching for 3 years now, and so I hope all these advice and tips are credible and useful to you all. Anyway, enough about procrastinating on my YouTube video. I'll leave it up to you to do your own practices. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.